This year's Independence Day parade to take place at the Usain Bolt Sports Complex. The island's Anti-Money Laundering Authority launches a website to help ensure businesses conform to required standards. Concern about the growing number of drug-resistant infections. And in sports, Harrison College continues to be the perennial swimming champs at inter-school sports.
The headline news is brought to you by RBC, a bank for all of you.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Pearson Bowen. New developments with the island's independence celebrations. It has been confirmed the parade and march past will be headed to the community of Black Rock. The parade will take place at the Usain Bolt Sports Complex, while the march past will proceed along Black Rock Main Road to Carlton Supermarket, where the official salute will be taken. Home Affairs Minister Wilfred Abrams says the venue has been selected because of the unavailability of other sites, including Kensington Oval, the Garrison Savannah, the Police Sports Club at Weymouth, and the Bridgetown Port.
The default venue was to go back to the Garrison Savannah, but anybody who's passed in vicinity of the Garrison Savannah over the last couple of weeks or months would see that the Savannah is dug up. There's some construction going on there and some remedial works going on there. So the field is completely unfit to host a parade at this point in time. We went to the other venue, which we've used in a bind, especially when there's a lot of rainfall. We went to the port. But in the area where we would normally have the parade, where they were clear for the parade, there were hundreds of containers there. And logistically, it would have proved a significant challenge for us. The port undertook that it would have the containers moved for the Independence Day parade, but it could not guarantee that the containers would be moved to be able to have sufficient rehearsals in the space for the parade to come off seamlessly. So that was a no-go.
In encouraging Barbadians to come out, Chief of Staff of the Barbados Defence Force, Commodore Arrington Sherland, says seating will be provided for 2,700 individuals.
There are going to be 17 detachments, 967 persons. The shape of the parade is no smaller. What I would say, though, to Barbadians is don't knock the venue until you've tried it. It's a very quaint little area. It has a certain, I would suggest, intimacy about it that would lend itself to that Barbadian feel. So therefore, the numbers won't be the same, and the space is quite adequate.
And at that press conference, we were also told the country's newest monument will be unveiled in the city on Tuesday.
At the unveiling, all of what went into it will be explained, the story will be told, and the explanation given for all the component pieces. So although you think you've seen some, you have no clue as to what is in store. And that will be unveiled on Tuesday at 4:30. That ceremony is going to go from 4:30 to 5:30. And at 5:30, there'll be an interlude where especially invited guests will be invited to tour the monument. They're going to have it explained to them first. And then after that is finished, the Independence Concert, the National Independence Concert, will be held on that same evening, the 28th. And it starts at 6:30. It runs from 6:30 to, I believe, 12 o'clock.
Barbados has taken another step to ensure it complies with the demands of the Financial Action Task Force. The island's Anti-Money Laundering Authority has launched a website to ensure businesses conform to required standards. Trevor Thorpe reports.
The Anti-Money Laundering Authority's Compliance Unit has been set up to provide information and resources to assist in structuring businesses to meet minimum standards. The Attorney General admits there may be missteps, but he has called on the business sector to accept the entity.
The work of the Compliance Unit is invaluable. It is a new unit. We are going to, and I say we're going to make a few missteps along the way, but never with malice, and always from the perspective of trying to improve our work and improve our relationship with you.
Chief Compliance Officer Shari Squires says the website has been constructed in 2 phases.
This website is in a two-phase approach. This is the first phase that we are launching today. The second phase will be a portal where we're going to have the DNFBPs, which is the designated non-financial businesses and professionals. We're going to have a portal where you can log in, you will to register with the compliance unit. Any information that we need you to submit, you will upload it using the website.
Ms. Squires has revealed more details about the site, which was created during the COVID-19 pandemic.
We have the About Us section, so this gives us a whole background in terms of who we are as a compliance unit, when we were created, why we were created, and we have information about our vision, mission, philosophy. All of that is there. We have about our board, which is the Anti-Money Laundering Authority, and this is the supervisory board, and you will just see a breakdown of the members of who actually sit on the board in terms of representatives from other government agencies, and then there are 4 independent directors on our board.
The Anti-Money Laundering Authority's Compliance Unit also offers on-site and off-site monitoring services. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley has expressed renewed concern about drug-resistant infections. Ms. Motley, the chair of the Global Leaders Group on Antimicrobial Resistance, has highlighted the issue at a global youth dialogue. She says every year AMR contributes to almost 5 million deaths worldwide associated with drug-resistant infections. According to Ms. Motley, its economic impact is also growing.
AMR could push up to 28 million people into extreme poverty by the year 2050. Now, we're supposed to be reducing poverty, not adding people to the poverty statistics. We need meaningful support, financial support for national AMR action plans and financing to address the crisis, as I said, in antimicrobial research and development. We had 20 companies doing research in the year 2000. We now have 4. We simply do not have enough new medicines or diagnostic tools in the pipeline.
Ms. Motley says the time for action is now to create a healthy future for all.
We have to pay attention to the inequality in our world, with some people not having access to effective medicines to treat infections. As I said, there can be no first-class or second-class citizens. Simply talking about AMR will only have meaning if we follow up with action. Please ask for action from your governments and find out what action your governments are currently taking to tackle antimicrobial resistance.
Seventh-day Adventist students have won the top prize in the island's school's jingle competition. It was held under the theme, A Brighter Future for Every Child. Crystal Hoyt has more.
The grand prize in the inaugural school's jingle competition has been won by Joshua Newsom, featuring Navita Whitehead. They both attend the Seventh-day Adventist Secondary School. They were followed by Joanna Hunt of Combermere School and Brianna Worrell and Zanera Leacock of the Darrell Jordan Secondary School. Organizer and Education Officer Randy Eastman shares the background on the competition.
School's jingle competition, it was launched on October 3rd, 2023, and this is a very emotional moment for me because as a producer myself, organizing something like this and seeing what these children have brought to the fore is really something special for me today. We had so many responses, so many people showing interest at that point in time in the competition. Students were tasked to conceptualize, write, compose, and record a 60-second jingle for submission under the theme, A Bright Future for Every Child.
8 schools entered the competition, and musician and judge John Roet hopes this won't be the last event.
Because writing jingles is an aspect of the music industry which years ago when I was growing up was quite looked down upon. But over the years we have gradually gained respect and recognition as a viable occupation.
Joshua Newsom has been producing music since he was 8 years old. He's revealed details about creating the winning jingle.
I came out with the music, I did the melody, the lyrics, the beat. So and then after I recorded my part, I realized I wanted a hook with a female voice. So I took my friend and I used her. So I want to thank her for coming and helping me out with this as well.
He dreams of turning this into a career. Crystal Hoyt, CBC News.
The Dance Fest competition relaunched. That story and more coming up. After a 5-year break, Dance Fest has returned to the national calendar. The competition, last held in 2018, will feature an exhibition on December the 3rd at Copacabana and then a national competition next November. The plans were announced during a press conference at the Division of Culture. Government's Special Envoy, Trevor Prescott, who was one of the first organizers in 2005, welcomes the rebirth of the event. He explains it was conceptualized to address social ills and encourage youth to get involved in culture.
I can't allow it to die, so I called a meeting together, as I said, and I said, look, there must be a rebirth. And that is why you see the title, Rebirth. There must be a rebirth of this event. It is addressing the issues of creating a more, not addressing that so much, but redressing more the issues of marginalization, the issues of unwholesome approaches. So we are bringing them mainstream, obviously, to moralize the arts.
And Minister in the Prime Minister's office with responsibility for culture, Senator Dr. Chantal Munro-Knight, notes it aligns with the overall effort to promote the creative economy.
This falls squarely within the mandate that culture has set itself, and I say culture, the Division of Culture, and all of the agencies, to make sure that when we talk about culture and the arts, it is actually grounded, and that it is grounded in communities themselves. I think, as was said, that we are true to the Barbadian excellence that we find that is there, and that we act as a facilitator.
The National Cultural Foundation is promising a night of excellence for the National Independence Festival of Creative Arts Performing Arts Gala. That event is slated for Sunday at the Garfield Sobers Gymnasium. Theatre Arts Officer at the NCF, Janelle Mitchell, says the gala, under the theme Barabajin, will treat patrons to 50 years of excellence remembered.
We're going to have performances from Winston Farrell, Jennifer Walker, Yolanda Kapendiki, as we know as Yolanda Holder, Sonia Williams, Janine White, Neil Waith, Mighty Gabby, Adrian Green. So we'll be taking you through the paces from 50 years of excellence and giving you a showcase of what we have celebrated over the years for the 50 years. But we do have a full theatrical presentation, which is called Barabajin, and that celebrates our poet laureate, the late Kamal Brathwaite.
Education and health officials from Barbados and the region are working to build on lessons learned during the COVID-19 pandemic. The United States Agency for International Development, in collaboration with UNICEF and the Barbados Ministry of Education, have hosted a workshop titled Building Resilient Schools Through Infection Prevention Control. UNICEF representative for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, Peter Bult, has expressed optimism that stronger, more robust plans will be developed.
What we really hope to get out of this week is a stronger collaboration, if you like, between across sectors, between representatives from different ministries. Because I think when we talk about mental health, when we talk about health prevention, health promotion, when we talk about education, all of this requires a more collaborative approach across sectors. Education is not only a business of the Ministry of Education or a Chief Education Officer. Education is the business of a community and of all the professionals working into supporting that community. So if there's one thing we want to get out of this week is recognizing this and translating this into better collaboration when colleagues go back to their countries.
Time for our first look at sports with the first man of sports, Mark Seal. Mark, good evening.
Good evening, Pearson. I know you were envious today. I got to enter school sports. Swimming, I know you like into school sports.
Yes.
Indeed. And Harrison College, they repeated as both the boys and girls champions at the 2023 Power Aid Secondary Inter-Schools Swimming Championships. Competing at the Aquatic Center today, College won the boys' title for the 12th consecutive time with 270 points, while they took the girls for the 11th year running with 327 points. Now, second in the boys were the swimmers from Christchurch Foundation with 213, and third St. Michael's School with 180, while runners-up in the girls were Foundation with 172 and Queen's College third with 119. There were 3 swimmers who totaled 54 points each, the highest among all competitors: Amaya Harrison of College in the 12 and under girls, Zachary Burke of College in the 12 and under boys, and Tony Waldron of Springer in the 15 and over girls. We have highlights from the 50-meter breaststroke and freestyle events. After the lunch break, first off the blocks was the 50-meter breaststroke for girls 12 and under. In the middle lane in the yellow national cap was Amaya Harrison of Harrison College, the favorite, and the race swam true to form as she came home first in 37.45 seconds. On her right in the blue cap was Kaija Eastman of Codrington, and on the other side of Harrison, her teammate Clea Springer in third. The boys' equivalent, well, there was no competition for Zachary Burke of College as he beat the field by over 4 seconds, winning in 33.75 seconds from Bo Washington of Lockerbie College and Elliot Reed of St. Winifred's. On to the 13 to 14 breaststroke. In the girls, there was another clear winner in celebrated Carifta athlete Jaya Simmons of College. She was 2 seconds ahead in 36.21. Now, the real battle was behind Simmons, where her teammate, Toria Aline, right at the bottom of your screen, touched out Naria McLean of St. Michael. In the boys, we had a keen battle for the top positions, with the top 3 finishers pulling for all their worth, and everyone coming in under 34 seconds. The winner was Victor Ashby of College, 33.32, followed by Tariq Greenwich of Foundation and Shadane Camacho of Queen's College. 15 and over breasts, the girls, there was an upset if you trust the seed times, as Springer's Tony Waldron pipped Michaela Clark of QC in 38.64. Sanya Walton of Foundation finished third. And in the boys, Joshua Ross of SMS Cougars was the winner in 31.59, followed home by Rajani St. Hill of Foundation, and Ross's teammate, Matthew Lashley, was third. We switch now to the fast 50-meter freestyle, girls 12 and under, and Harrison of College was again the winner. Her time, 28.35, as she won that age group's individual title with 54 points. Her teammate, Springer, was second in the 50, but third overall, while Eastman of Codrington was third in the 50 and second overall. Boys 12 and under, and Burke of College notched another victory in 26.72, and he was first overall with 54 points. Washington of Lockerbie was second in the event and third overall, while Mihail Sobers of QC was third. But third overall went to Reed of St. Winifred's. Girls 13 to 14, and we had a new sprint record. Simmons of College was clocked at 26.89 seconds, breaking the mark of Olympian Daniel Titus in 26.16. Simmons also won the age group with 52 points. Swimming under the old mark as well in the 50 free was Heidi Stout of St. Winifred's in 27 seconds flat. She was also second overall. Third went to Aline of 8C, who was also third overall. The boys' equivalent, Ashby of College, was again on the top podium. His time, 26.13. He was also the age group winner with 50 points. Second in that race was Greenwich of Foundation, and he was also second overall, with Brendan Gill of Dighton Griffith third and third. 15 and over, the girls, Waldron of Springer took top spot again, 29.34. Rebecca Weeks of Lockerbie was second in the 50 and second overall, while Kenya Dean of 8C was third and third. Now to the boys 15 and over 50-meter freestyle to determine the fastest secondary school swimmer. And the event matched the hype, with the top 2 positions being determined by 2/100th of a second. Joshua Ross of St. Michael, the closest to your screen of the middle lanes, pipped Aquan Critchlow of Foundation. Ross was timed at 25.74 and Critchlow 25.76. And fittingly, there were also 1-2 in the overall age group standings. third went to Lashley of SMS, who was also third overall. And incidentally, 5 records were broken at this year's meet.
Now for tonight's business report. Barbados is ready for its meeting with the Financial Action Task Force. This assurance from Attorney General Dale Marshall as he addressed the Anti-Money Laundering Authority Compliance Unit's launch of a new website at the Lord Erskine Sandiford Centre. He told the gathering he's optimistic about the outcome.
In January, Barbados will be having its on-site assessment with the representatives of the FATF. We expect to do well in that on-site, and that on-site is all that stands between us and getting off of the FATF grey list and the EU blacklist. It hasn't been easy. It has taken up so much of our time and effort.
The Attorney General says getting off the Financial Action Task Force grey list does not mean automatic removal from the EU's blacklist. However, he says it's important to do so as many local businesses need to do financial transactions with clients in Europe.
It is especially important for Barbados that we get off of these lists so that the countries with whom we have to do business are comfortable that we're not sending tainted money to their jurisdiction. So I think that, I hope, sets out a perspective of what we're dealing with.
Barbados has established a government technology agency called GovTech Barbados Limited. It was incorporated under the company's Act Cap 308 on September the 19th. According to a government information release, the establishment of a GovTech agency is seen as a critical component in the overall execution of government's digital transformation mandate. The board of directors, led by Chairman George Connolly, has been appointed for a period of 3 years with effect from the 21st of September. The GIS says GovTech Barbados will stand at the center of the island's digital transformation and innovation ecosystem. This agency is expected to become a world-class digital hub that drives national innovation and, once fully established and operationalized, will attract investors and generate income and commercial activity. Let's get back to sports now. Let's get back to Mark Seal. Mark.
Indeed, West Indies A got a 27-run first innings lead over hosts South Africa A on day 2 of the first 4-day match at Willamore Park, resuming their first innings on 46 without loss. In reply to South Africa A's 287 for 9 declared, the Windies A made 314 for 9 declared. Tajnarine Chandapal top scored with 78. That included 12 fours, while Kavem Hodge added 73 and Akeem Jordan 40. Now at the close of day 2, the hosts were 3 without loss in their second innings. That means that they are trailing by 24 runs. In more cricket news, Christchurch Foundation defeated Lasco Aiku St. Michael's School by 162 runs in the semi-finals of the BCA Schools Under 19 40-over championship at Briar Hall yesterday. Daniel Duncan fell 2 runs short of a century as Foundation scored 250 for 6 in their 40. His 98 off 99 deliveries was inclusive of 7 fours and 5 sixes. Huzefa Memi took 4 for 35. In reply, St. Michael were bowled out for just 88 in 23.4. Akobi Critchlow Bayer snapped up 4 for 18, and Anthony Singh 3 for 23. Foundation will now take on Queen's College in the final. And speaking about Queen's College, their dominance in the Co-Operators General Insurance Schools Under 19 basketball competition has seen them book a place in the semi-finals. This as they hosted Alexandra at Husbands last evening and claimed a 10-point win in that quarterfinal matchup. CBC's Anne-Marie Burke looks at the game.
We're at the business end of things in the school's basketball, and this is Alexandra in the blue up against Queen's College for a place in the semi-finals. And the boys from Husbands were the host, and you know losing on home turf is never the plan. So here they go with the steal. Zane Gaskin collecting the pass to take it coast to coast before making it an easy layup. But these are two among the best in the league, so immediately Alexandra goes on the counter-attack with the nice fadeaway jumper is Shamar Chambers. The ball is heading back down court again. Ikoros Brathwaite does all the early work before passing off to Michael Briggs, and it dances in. It was pretty much basket for basket, but QC always held a slight edge, and Tyler Ford had much to do with this, as here he's collecting the ball just outside the arc before draining a big one. Ford was finding favor at the arc in this first quarter. Here he goes again, banking it. And we had a scoreline as close as can be, as the boys from Alexandra were still keeping tabs. Breaks again the one to complete the play. But the boys in red were 2 points ahead at the end of the first quarter, 18-16, and Ford accounted for 10 of those points. Into the second, Alexandra looked to turn fortunes and started pressing harder. All players looking to ensure the baskets kept coming. This time it's LaVon Boyne who adds to the score. But you know that meant on the other end we would see some more points added too. Back up court we go, and Ford still the man, too hot to handle. But what was a 2-point lead was cut to just 1 point, separated the two teams at the half. Alexandra keeping it tight, although QC were still in control, 29-28. Into the third, and this is where the boys in red again widen the points margin. For their man, still leading by example. Ford even had his defense game on point. What looked like it would be money in the bank for Alexandra saw breaks rejected. Ooh, that was harsh. The QC bench loved it. But Breaks was fighting, and here he goes again, faking the D, then pulling up for the jumper, but misses. QC gets rebound, but here comes Brathwaite, and though he's knocked over, the mission was already completed. But in the grand scheme of things, QC still were in the driver's seat. Caddy Belgrave comes up big as his team led 39-33. Now what happened in the final 15 saw Alexandra lose steam. Mistakes, turnovers, and the QC boys were making the most of them. Look at this clear path to the basket. It was as if they had clocked out of the game. But I can't finish without making mention of Alexandra's point man Briggs. He ended with a game-high 22 points and was truly a star on the court. But the day belonged to the boys from Queen's College, who booked a place in the semi-finals, staving off a strong fight from Alexandra to win by 10 points, 57-47. Anne-Marie Burke, CBC Sports.
That's our time tonight. Thank you for spending it with us. I'm Pearson Bowen. For the crew, to all of you, good night. By God's will, we'll see you tomorrow.